Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. So good to see everybody. Come on in, and as you come in, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Today, I want to talk a little bit about some funny issues in terms of what's going on with our economy. I want to talk about the economics and hopefully give you some information that'll put some money in your pocket and some opportunity in your vision because the truth of the matter is that things are hard for people, and there are a lot of people that are struggling, and it's kind of unfortunate. I hate to see that because really, what's going on is that you've been sold a bill of goods that is fundamentally incorrect. You've been told um, that going to school and getting a job is the best way for you to get ahead financially, and that's just not true. And something that triggered this thought for me today, and I'm going to give you some data that is going to help you um, understand why getting jobs is a losing wealth strategy. That literally finding your way to yet another broken opportunity or going down some other rabbit hole, economic rabbit hole with nothing at the end of it. Why that's not going to help you to find what you're looking for. And I just thought about this because I was explaining this to our kids. So I said, since I'm explaining to the kids, I'm explaining to anybody that wants to listen. So anyway, let me show you all what I was thinking about. What's up, Justin? And my name is Corey and Cam and Jones. Can y'all hear me? Let me know. Give me a quick yes if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Once I get the yes and the confirmation, then I'll know I can move forward in peace. We're traveling as a family. My wife's birthday weekend's coming up. We just had our third wedding anniversary, and also there was Mother's Day, and we had eighth grade graduation, and a couple of my goddaughters had birthdays. So this is a crazy month, and it ain't even done yet. It ain't even done. All right, so let me show you all something that I thought was really, really interesting, and I put it on my Twitter. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins, Dr. Boyce Watkins, and the number one, Dr. Boyce Watkins one. So I hope you'll follow me on Twitter because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I get tired of arguing with idiots. I just do. I don't even do it. I don't argue with idiots. I just teach them and share information, and hopefully they'll come out of their idiot status and learn how to listen and realize what's right in front of them. And what you should realize is right in front of you is that all your strategies when it comes to economics are not working. Your community is broken. Your community's become a little bit embarrassing in terms of us, what we're doing relative to what we could do. And I just don't have the patience for nonsense, to be honest with you. But let me show you all this, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. So here is what I put on Twitter. And let me know if y'all can see that. And if you're watching on Instagram, or sorry, not Instagram. I said Instagram. I would say if you're listening on Spotify, you're just gonna hear this, but I'll describe what's on the screen. So what I put up on the screen just now from my Twitter account, Dr. Boyce Watkins one, is this cover on Time Magazine. You can see here it says it has a white woman, and it says, "I have a master's degree, 16 years of experience, work 2 extra jobs, and donate plasma to pay the bills. I am a teacher in America." So let's decompose this. Okay. Y'all know me. I like to really break things down. That's why I call it the Dr. Boyce breakdown, because I like to break things down and challenge you to think a little bit. Because if you don't start thinking, then the people that are thinking are going to eat you up. If you don't heighten your economic consciousness, the people that are conscious and aware are going to chew you up and spit you out, and it's just going to suck. So let me dissect this. I'm gonna literally break this down line for line. This is a cover of on Time Magazine. I don't know what episode or issue this was. I do know that there are stories out there like this, and I want to kind of address some of this. So let's read it slowly. I have a master's degree. Now let's think about master's degree. Master's degree takes you 4 years of college plus 2 years of grad school. That's 6 years of school. 6 years. Okay, so if you think about that, just in terms of like a 40-hour work week, if you take 40 hours a week and you do that for a year, that's 2,000 hours a year of work. 2,000 hours a year times 6, that's 12,000 hours of labor. So 12,000 hours of hard work to get the master's degree. Okay, so let me write that down, 12,000 hours. So if you value that time at, say, even $10 an hour, that's $120,000. But most people make more than 10. Let's triple that. Let's say $360,000. So, and that doesn't even include the cost of tuition. If you throw in the cost of tuition to get this master's degree, this poor woman may have spent, let's say, I don't know, let's be nice. Let's say it's another $140,000 because college plus a master's degree would cost about that much. You're lucky if you spend that much. So process this. Pay attention now. I want y'all to listen. That's about $500,000 worth of human capital, time, labor, energy, wealth that was applied to achieving this goal. Follow. Give me a yes if you follow me. I don't want to talk too fast because I want you to get the point. Let me know if you're following the logic here. Are y'all hearing me? Are y'all getting what I'm saying? Okay. So, all right. So as we talk about this $500,000 investment, let's keep going. She's not done yet. What else did she say? She said, I have 16 years of experience. Lord Jesus, that's beautiful, right? 16 years. Okay, so let's do more math. Let's remember 2,000 hours a year. That's 16 years. That's 32,000 hours. And if you value the 32,000 hours at the rate we talked about earlier, about $30 an hour, let's see, 32,000, 320,000 times 10. That's about, let's round it up to a cool million. It's about 960,000. So pay attention now. So that's $1 million worth of effort plus $500,000 put into getting the education. So there's $500,000 worth of effort put in to get the education, another $1 million worth of effort to become this highly trained person that she is. I mean, she is 16 years. I mean, shit, that's great. That's beautiful, right? All right, and then what else? She also says that she works 2 extra jobs, so she's not working 40 hours a week. Give me a yes or no. How many of y'all think that if she's working 2 extra jobs on top of being a teacher, how many of you think that she's working, more than 40 hours a week? How many of you think that give me a guess if you would agree with me that my estimate of 40 hours a week is conservative, if that is a conservative estimate of the number of hours that this hardworking woman is putting into being successful. What do y'all think? Yes or no? You agree with me? Or am I blowing smoke up your butt? Am I making stuff up? Thank you, Sherman. Sherman says 60 hours. Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Sherman. I'm thinking at least 60 hours. I think this poor lady's been busting her butt. I think that she's been just grinding like crazy. And she's not young. She's not old. But she's kind of, she looks like she might be, if you got 16 years of experience, that probably means you're at least 40, maybe 45. So she's dedicated a chunk of her life. She's middle aged now. She's this half of her life dedicated to something. What is that? What is she dedicated to? Let's say it's the American dream or something. And then also on top of that, she's giving plasma, which I don't know the health effects of giving all your plasma away and stuff, but whatever. Okay, that's just an add-on. All right, now here's what I want y'all to understand. And I'm gonna just tell you, I'm not the right guy I'm not the right messenger for this because what happens is that I when I see a solvable problem that we're not solving, I get a little frustrated. I get a little angry when I see us trying to solve a problem with the same tactics that never worked in the first place. I get a little frustrated. I'm not gonna lie, and I get I'll get in there and I'll make a comment on shade room or something and have people mad at me because I really kind of because I see this a lot. I really do. And the curse of knowing finance the way I know it, I've been a finance professor for a long time. I've been teaching for 30 years pretty much. I know what wasted effort looks like, right? And so here's where I'm going to go with this. Here's where I'm going with this. This is really indicative of our society. What this lady said. Now, most people are not in as bad shape as her, but it's pretty bad. I mean, she's donating the plasma to pay the bills. There are lots of people in America that are in economic trouble, that are struggling, and a lot of it's because you get sold a false bill of goods. You get sold a lie. You get sold a method of success that simply does not work. And this lady is, to me, exemplifies that, because I just showed you mathematically how she put in approximately, arguably, $1.5 million worth of investment into a business, the business called Her Life, that is failing. It's a struggling business. If you invest 1.5 million, say in the S&P 500, and you do that over the same number of time that she spent going to school and going to work and donating plasma and working 2 jobs, you're gonna have $10 million, right? You're gonna have a lot more. Now, arguably, obviously, right? She couldn't have done that when she was younger. So I'm not saying that was an easy option. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that the whole get the education and go to work model does not work. And in fact, I'm gonna read some statistics to you about what college graduates are going through that will help you understand my point a little more clearly. And before I do that, I'd like to ask you all if you could do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and if you're interested in things like Black Wealth, we actually have a Black Wealth Mastery store where I literally have put books like my book Financial Lovemaking, my book The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, My wife is a therapist. She helped us in the Black Business School to create our first ever Black financial therapy department. It's the first one ever created. There's not one anywhere, because what we're trying to really study and understand in our think tank is why we keep doing the same thing over and over again. What's really going on that's causing us to believe something that is simply unbelievable. And I've gone on a lot of different shows to try to express this idea, shows like the Breakfast Club and stuff like that. And it's really, really hard because there are a lot of you that get it. I go places and we have packed out arenas and everything else, and we have lots of people that are hearing this, but there are other messages that are so much louder that are just the wrong messages. And I want you to understand that that being Black means, in my view, that there are people that have a vested interest in making sure that you hear the wrong message. There are people out there that have a vested interest in making sure that you're always behind. In fact, I'll tell you this. I'm going to tell you something that just happened to me not too long ago. I had some people really mad at me. I made a little comment on this Shade Room post. They had Kai Cenat and Kevin Hart, and they were doing something together. I think Kevin went to Kai's YouTube channel or wherever it is, and I really kind of had an issue with that. I kind of thought about that, and I said, gosh, it's like this intergenerational thing. These two guys, even they look alike, they kind of act alike, and it's like this sort of intergenerational thing, right? Where you've got kind of these guys that are really, really funny, but it seems like we have this oversupply of very unserious Black men. Like like I went to Elon Musk's page, right? Who's one of the most famous white men in America, and Elon is a racist, and I don't like him that much. And he made a comment about some really exclusive, rare element in the universe that takes like 10 billion or 14 billion years to decay. And I thought that was so cool that he gets to be smart in public, and there aren't people, and his people appreciate that. Like, they appreciate smart stuff. They appreciate wanting to learn about how the world works. They appreciate building an automobile manufacturing facility, solving problems with the environment or whatever. Whereas it seems to me that sometimes, and again, I probably sound, I'm gonna make some people mad when I say this, and I cannot apologize for this, but it's like every time I turn around and I see famous Black males, we're not famous for being the smartest people in the room. We're typically famous for being the dumbest. We're typically famous for being funny. We're famous for being athletic. We're famous for being rappers. And that's okay. It's okay to be a rapper. It's okay to be a comedian. It's okay to be an athlete. But I don't really think that the most famous, most successful men in our community should be clowns. And why do I say that? Am I just trying to be a hater? No, here's why it's a problem. It's because it's designed that way. It's designed that way. America doesn't want to hear from smart Black people. They want to hear from the clowns. They want to hear from the rappers. They want to hear from the people that don't necessarily want to think. And when people got mad at me, they said, Unc, you sound old fashioned. Unc, you just hating, Unc, and whatever. I said, well, let me tell you something. I said, let Unc tell you something right quick. Let Unc break it down for you. Why they playing your little dumb ass? Here's why they playing your little silly ass. I said, look at your community. Look at your community right now, and let me know if you're following any of this. I said, look at your community right now. I said, you have the goofiest, most unserious people in your community with the biggest platforms. They're not doing serious things. I said, the most famous white men in the world are known for building billion-dollar tech companies. They're worth $100 billion each because they are developing artificial intelligence and technologies that are changing the world. They're building rocket ships to Mars. They're solving important problems. Your most famous people, your most famous men are men like Diddy, who's known for dancing like a teenager till the age of 50. Or Kevin Hart and Kai Cenat, guys that are just funny, and it's okay. You need your comedians, but your comedians should not be the leaders of your community. The rappers should not be the leaders of the Black community, because you got too many problems. I said, look at your community. Thank you, Calvin. That's a great term, shucking and jiving. I said, look at your community. Your community is falling apart because your men, the men that they're choosing to lead the community, are not leaders at all. They're not thinking about how to use their power and their platform for the benefit of the community. They're not thinking like, how do we solve important problems? How do we build more schools? How do we create more jobs? How do we develop more manufacturing facilities? How do we build a company that can compete with Tesla? They're not thinking that. And I said, and you see the evidence everywhere. Tell me if you agree with this. Tell me if you agree with this. The Black family is in absolute shambles. Black families are just broken into little tiny microscopic pieces, and the pieces are filled with crap, and the poor children are growing up traumatized as hell. because the people that are supposed to be guiding them and leading them are so messed up that they can't lead themselves. Tell me if you agree with this. Educationally speaking, black children get the worst education known to man. You literally mass produce, the public school system mass produces millions of black kids who are 18 years old who can't read at the level of a fourth grader. How does that happen? Well, it's because your men are not leaders. Your men are off telling jokes. You funny dog. And then they go to the club and get bottles of Ciroc and they dancing and they clowning and cooning and shucking and jiving. And this is what y'all paying attention to. Did y'all see that Club Shay Shay interview with the comedians, y'all? Well, y'all, that was good, y'all. No, that's reflected in your community. You look around your community, the families are shit. Your women are not protected. Your children are not being educated, nor are they being loved or guided. Your wealth is falling in the toilet. Your wealth is going backward. And this is not anti-entertainer or anti-athlete. I mean, there was a time where you had entertainers and athletes who got serious. Anybody remember this? How many of y'all remember the picture that's right here on this page? Anybody seen this picture before? What picture is that? Tell me what's on that screen right there. Y'all see that? Y'all see those serious black men? Now, these are all athletes. Muhammad Ali, Bill Russell, Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And these men showed up ready for business. They were ready to handle business. They said, we are the biggest, strongest, baddest dudes out here, and we are the leaders. We are getting the most attention, and we're going to stand up, and we're going to do something meaningful with our power. Now, remember this. Remember, back in the day, you had O.J. Simpson that same year. And O.J., when they asked O.J. to participate, O.J. said, I'm not black, I'm O.J. He was the clown of the time. He was the guy that made white folks happy and comfortable. And you saw what happened. They strung his butt up. As soon as they did him like Diddy. As soon as he messed up and did something, or was in the wrong place, wrong time, I don't know, whatever you believe, they reminded him of exactly who he was, just like they're doing with Diddy. So at the end of the day, what I will say to you all is that you're really kind of in this awkward situation where not only are you living in an economy that is not built to sustain and support the average American worker, you're also living in a world where the black community gets taken for a massive rope-a-dope. You kind of live in a world where you're taught that as a black man, your most important job is to kind of just sort of be this clownish guy who makes lots of money by making white people happy and comfortable. And then you're all the while your community is not benefiting. You're not building infrastructure. You're not developing schools. You're not building businesses that are capable of employing more than maybe 20 or 30 people. You're not developing the kinds of things that are going to sustain and elevate a community. So there's nothing wrong with necessarily being a comedian. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that comedians should not be leading a community. You need people that can create jobs. You need people that can build schools. You need people that are going to guide you in a direction that's going to make you better. And I don't know if we're getting that. I think that people get mad at me. They hate on me when I say it. And I get a lot of heat. But you know what? I can't back down. I'm not going to back down because God is telling me that you're full of crap with this nonsense. That if you believe that what we're doing and where we're going as a community is the right direction, I ain't got nothing for you. I can't help you. I cannot help you. Now do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. And I don't just talk about the problem. I want to solve the problem. In the Black Business School, every single morning, as a finance professor, my goal is to help you become economically aware. So we have what we call economic awareness training that we do every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. It's 100% free. You don't have to pay money, just pay attention. And we do this every single day in a private Zoom. And so if that's your thing and you're interested in joining us, just pull out your phone, text the word morning, MORNING, to 87948. And if you text morning to 87948, I will send you an invitation. We will meet tomorrow morning because we do this every day, every single day, 7 days a week. And as I mentioned earlier, we have books and all kinds of materials and tools and flashcards for kids, financial flashcards, all that. Feel free to go to drboycebooks.com to take a look if you'd like to be a part of that. Okay. So we got all the resources. We're building a university. It's hard. We don't have all the money that we'd like to have. But we have raised a few $1 million, and we poured all that right back into building the infrastructure that a lot of these entertainers won't build. And of course, that makes me a very dangerous black man, apparently, in the eyes of people who would rather see a black man as a thug or a comedian than to see a black man show up as a thinker and as someone who actually gets things done. And so, anyway, let me get back to this. Okay, so we were talking earlier about this lady who, who had, the whole master's degree, 16 years of experience. She was working two jobs, and she still was basically on pretty much almost on welfare. Like she was really in a position financially where she can't pay the bills, and really that's an unfortunate reality about America. I mean, at the end of the day, we treat our teachers like crap. We treat our soldiers like crap. The people in the community that are really getting the work done, again, the teachers and the soldiers and the thinkers and the parents and the activists and the people that are really guiding our people to a better place, the husbands and wives and fathers and mothers. These are the individuals that don't get the support that they deserve. And one of the things I just truly believe is that all this is by design. I think that we have a society that's designed to keep the most backward thinking people at the front of the bus, because they'll drive the bus backward. Why? Well, because you're a backward Negro. Backward Negroes drive the bus backward. Their job is not to move it forward. So if your biggest black leaders and your most visible black people, are comedians, well, then you're going to be a joke. Your community is going to be a joke. Why? Well, because your leader's a comedian. So comedians make you laugh, and there's a long history of a very non-threatening, comedy-like black men being put at the top of the food chain, being seen, by everybody, getting lots of money to be goofballs, and absolutely no progress gets made out of that. There's no improvement in our educational system. There's no infrastructure being built. There's no jobs being created. Families are not stronger. It's just kind of this intergenerational phenomenon. Now, one of the things I want to mention also, though, that you really want to understand is that there is a way to kind of analyze what's happening to all Americans as it pertains to what a college degree does for you and what it does not do for you. College degrees, are something that when we felt like we were being progressive, we really pursued education at the highest levels, and we still do. I think there's nothing wrong with going to college. I taught on many college campuses: University of Kentucky, Indiana University, etc. And I love going to college campuses. My wife and I, every year we go back to Indiana University where I met her. And I tell guys, I kind of mess with them. I say, if you're looking for a good wife, you ain't gonna typically find your best wife in the club. I said, I found my wife in the library, and I got a great wife. And because somebody wrote something on there where they said, I can't find a woman who looks good, who can cook and who can clean, who can throw down in the bedroom and all these other things, right? And I said, you know what? Then I must have hit the lottery. I said, but the truth of the matter is that my wife was not the first black woman I met who had those criteria. There's lots of amazing black women in the world. And I just think that if you're looking for these women, in the strip clubs, then you're not gonna really find that. You might find somebody that's a professional twerker, or they might be good in the bedroom, but I don't know if they're gonna have all the skills that are required to be a complete black woman. But anyway, so education I think is very important. I'm a big fan of it, but the cost of college attendance has gotten way too high. And let me give you a few little statistics to help you understand why college degrees have just started kicking people in the butt, and why you want to be really careful with college degrees. Number one is student loan debt. The average student loan debt for the class of 2022 was $37,000. It was only $20,000 back in the year 2000. Also, according to the Economic Policy Institute, inflation adjusted wages for young college graduates have only increased by 0.8% between 2000 and 2020. Did y'all hear that? That literally over a 20-year period, the wages of college graduates adjusted for inflation has only increased by 0.8%. Did y'all hear that? Give me a yes if you followed that. I want to say that slow so y'all understand that. Now, let me ask y'all this. So the wages, the inflation adjusted wages for young college graduates have only increased by 0.8%. Do you think that over a 20-year period, the cost of living only went up by 0.8%? What do y'all think? Do you think that 0.8% increase over a 20-year period is good? Did y'all hear? Are y'all hearing this? So it basically says that as a college graduate in 2024, you're not making that much more than your mother did when she graduated in 2020 or 1998. You're not. So how in the hell can we see a statistic like this and somehow still believe that the whole go to school and get a good job path is the best approach? I mean, what makes me sad about it is that I know how hard it is to be a good teacher. God bless the best teachers in our world. I mean, teachers are just some of the most amazing, important, transformative human beings in our society. Teachers, I mean, and nowadays these kids are crazy. They come into school with guns, ready to fight because their mama and their daddy ain't doing a good job. The daddy's on crack, mama's on heroin, and they come into school ready to fight the teacher and all that. And so God bless all the teachers that put up with that. I mean, I think that you are a gift from God. You are more important to the black community than any athlete, any rapper, or any comedian will ever be. And I think you deserve to be paid for that. So it makes me sad to hear that teachers and people that are doing these really important jobs are not getting what they deserve in terms of pay. And where I come in, and again, this sometimes it offends people, but I don't care about that. I want to offend you because your ass needs to be offended by the way you've been treated. You need to be offended by the fact that your community's following behind every generation. You need to be offended by the fact that your families are falling apart. You need to be offended by the fact that you're getting laughed at by the rest of the world. You need to be offended by the fact that nobody on the planet, there's no community anywhere on earth that says, oh my gosh, I woke up this morning, I prayed that my daughter would get pregnant by a black man. How many Indian families or Asian families or African families do you think that sit around and say, man, if my daughter has a baby with an African American male, that child's really going to be well off? What do y'all think? Do you think that they say that? Or do you think that they say, oh no, do not get pregnant by an African American man? They will abandon the baby. Anybody ever heard that stereotype? Remember when Ice Cube said, this is what they think about you. This is what they think about you. That's what they think about you. And the reason those stereotypes bother me is because I know guys who fulfill those stereotypes. That's one reason it bothers me. Another reason it bothers me is because I know a lot of guys who don't fulfill the stereotypes and they don't get the attention they deserve. They don't get honored by society. They don't put those black men on TV. They want to put the buffoons on TV. And I personally think that that shows a significant lack of balance. But if you understand Dr. Claude Anderson the way I do in his books, like Black Labor, White Wealth, you'll know that there's a history to this. There's a history of making black people look ridiculous. There's a history of promoting backward thinking in their community. So really, what I would say to you is that the solution is going to have to come from you. And ultimately, when you're talking about solutions, there's no way around basic things like entrepreneurship. There's no way around things like investing. Every kid's going to have to invest, especially with some of our people and the way they see the shiny Negroes on TV, the rappers and everything else, and they want to dress like the rappers and they want to have the Gucci this and the Prada that and the fancy this and the fancy that. Well, all that stuff costs money. There's nothing wrong with wanting nice stuff, but if you want nice stuff, you have to have a financial plan. If you want nice stuff and you don't position yourself to be able to afford it, then you're eventually going to have to do something illegal or unethical in order to obtain it. So what happens in the black community in many cases is that a lot of our young people have significant financial addictions. They're addicted to the Louis, they're addicted to the Gucci, they're addicted to the Prada, they're addicted to the jewelry, they're addicted to the Benz, they're addicted to whatever, right? You saw kids, did you see that? I talked about this yesterday. You see kids going to the prom that literally look like they are born in Indian or African royalty or something. Like they're showing to the prom, spending $10,000-$20,000 on the prom, pulling up in Benzes and Bentleys and everything else, and it's all a costume party. It's all fake. It's all fake because 9 times out of 10 you can't afford it. 9 times out of 10 you're going in debt to have it. 9 times out of 10 you're just trying to keep up with your friends. 9 times out of 10 you are using financial extravagance as a way to cover up extreme insecurities. 9 times out of 10 you act this way because you think that that's the culture. And my question that I ask you, the question that's going to get on your nerves, is I say, well, who created that culture? Where'd that culture come from? Well, that's what the rappers do. Well, who put the rappers on TV? Probably the record labels. Or who runs the record labels? It ain't us. Who runs the TV networks? It ain't us. And the people that are putting these images into the media, the people that are putting these guys on TV that you look up to, they don't put their own children out there like that. They don't have their own kids looking like you. It's just you. It's your thing, right? So ultimately, if you have this much materialism, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having nice stuff. I have a luxury car. My wife has a luxury car. But at the same time, we also have a work ethic that is consistent with being able to obtain a luxury car. In addition to having the luxury car, my wife has a PhD. She spent many, many years in school studying 8 hours a day so she could be successful. That's what I had to do. I had to study 7, 8 hours a day for almost a decade to get my PhD in finance. They didn't give me that. It wasn't. I didn't get it through some weekend program. I'm not a veneer tech. Right? You saw the veneer techs, right? And I think that sometimes what can occur is that you have this weird disconnect. What entertainment kind of does is it creates this weird disconnect between work ethic and success. It makes a 25-year-old think that you're supposed to live like a rich 45-year-old by the time you're 26. And I just really think that that's a dangerous trap to fall into, especially when all the skills that you're given to obtain that are the wrong skills anyway. Now, what I'm going to do actually is instead of just talking about the problem, I'm going to give you some solutions. If you could, please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. If you'd like to learn how to make money without working, I teach stock options and all kinds of stuff, things that I really think everybody should understand. I think kids should learn this stuff. I really wish every child understood stock options because it would really change your life. I'm training our 17-year-old on stock options now because I told her we're in LA and I said, I'm going to take you to Rodeo Drive, but I'll take you as long as you will let me show you some things that will allow you to afford stuff on Rodeo Drive. So if you'd like to take advantage of a free training that I have that everyone loves called How to Make Money Without Working, just text the word money to the number 87948. You can text money to 87948. And another way you could take a look at what we do with stock options is you can go to drboyceprime.com. Prime stands for Passive Recurring Income Machine. So feel free to go to drboyceprime.com. You can take a look. All right, so let's finish this up. Let's finish this conversation because I don't want to sit on here ranting all day. Even though y'all know me, I get mad about this stuff and I end up just kind of going off. And I apologize if I sound that way. Just chalk it up to a frustrated person who sees a solution that isn't being applied. So there's a lot of financial stress out here. A lot of people are worried about how to pay the bills. A lot of people are mad because their college degree did not pay off the way they wanted it to. Other statistics that you should pay attention to are the following. In 2020, the unemployment rate for recent college graduates was 6.8%. Compared to the overall unemployment rate of 3.5%. So literally all the college graduates ages 22 to 27. I didn't say that part. So young college graduates had an unemployment rate that was nearly twice as high as the overall unemployment rate. So everybody that went to school and got the master's degrees and the bachelor's degrees and all that, they had a pretty high unemployment rate, and many of them were underemployed. Nearly 41%. That's almost half. 41% of recent college graduates are working in jobs that do not require a degree, leading to lower earnings and job satisfaction. How many of y'all seen that? How many of y'all seen somebody that basically says, I'm not working in the field that I got my degree? How many of y'all know somebody who's like that? Some of y'all may have friends that are like that, who are working in a field that ain't got nothing to do with their degree, and you're kind of questioning life. You're kind of questioning what you were taught. Right, you have questions. I assume you have questions. If you're smart and you're a thinker and you are an intelligent person, you're probably wondering. You're looking around. You're like, "What the hell is this, man? This is BS." Right, and I can tell you again, my PhD, my expertise is finance. Right, so as a financial expert, I can tell you exactly what's happening. What's happening is that college degrees are not giving you what they used to give you. Also, this economy is not loyal to you. This economy, these corporations are not going to keep you employed. They don't care about you. They'll fire you at the drop of a hat. They'll get you to overcommit to a particular career path, and next thing you know, they'll swoop you out of there. Artificial intelligence is here. 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 Artificial intelligence is going to get millions of people fired. You know why? You know why? Because in capitalism, the people that control the capital at the top, they absolutely hate workers. Do y'all know that? I mean, they really don't like work. It's really an inconvenient partnership. It's a marriage of convenience, if you will. It's just, you know how people get married just strictly for the money. They hate dealing with workers. They hate dealing with labor unions. That's why they busted up all the unions. I'm pro union, but they're not. They hate dealing with people complaining like, oh, you pay me $100,000, but you have me working really hard, and my OSHA, I'm calling OSHA and the whoever because you had me working too many hours and wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. Right? Amazon companies like Amazon don't want to hear that, and I'm not saying it's right. I think it's wrong. I think it's terrible, but that's what it is, right? So companies that these white boys that are running the tech companies, the Jeff Bezoses and stuff like that, they can't wait to get you out of there. Do you know that's why Amazon buys thousands of robots every day? They're buying thousands of robots every day. And in China, I think China has half of all the robots on the planet. And so they're trying to automate, man. That's what I'm saying. The way, like even in China, where there's a lot more unity and stuff like that, they hate workers too. And they literally have half of all the robots on the planet. And their number one economic strategy to bring their economy back is automation. Well, automation means getting your ass out of there. It means not depending on a human being to run your factory. You get robots to do it. NVIDIA is showing people, y'all need to pay attention to this stuff. I hope you are. NVIDIA recently, the CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Wong, I think that's his name. Gosh. Yeah, he's worth about $90 billion now because NVIDIA stock has gone up so much. And Jensen Wong literally was explaining how you could like build a factory and then build the robots in the factory with AI and then have the robots in the factory build the rest of the factory or something. It was something weird where literally he was talking about how you could build whole entire factories and everything without even having a human being involved on hardly any level because AI is so good. So what I'm just telling you is that this is what's coming. This is not going away. This is going to happen. So people who live with their heads in the sand are going to get killed. They're going to get just buried. It's going to be painful. It's going to be sad to watch. Those of us in our community who are trained to be a day late and a dollar short are going to be completely, totally left behind. That's the only way I can say it and be honest with you. If you have a community that prides itself on ignorance or prides itself on how the men hate the women and the women hate the men, or pride with broken families and your kids are being abandoned the entire process, or prides itself on economic habits that are anti-wealth, like overspending your money, not investing, not saving, not thinking about the future. I don't really see how a community like that is able to really survive. And what I really think is going to happen is that there's going to be a class of people that are going to get stuck in the underbelly of our society, and they're going to end up filling up the penitentiaries again. You know, Joe Biden did that back in the 1990s. That's why I don't vote for this man. And I don't like Donald Trump either. I never put him on a pedestal. I've known about Trump for 30 something years. Never liked him either. And I think that at some point, that's what you're going to see. I think that you're going to have scenarios where people have no choice but to resort to crime, and then they're going to say the crime's out of control, and then they're going to elect somebody who's going to do what the president of Ecuador did. I think it was Ecuador, where they had such a bad gang problem and crime problem that he literally went through and pretty much did almost like a type of extermination, if you will. Like he kind of went through and just literally said anybody who is in a gang or affiliated on any level is going to prison. And a lot of people are happy about it because it cleaned up the streets. But a lot of people, it was El Salvador. I said El Salvador. I meant to say I said Ecuador. I meant to say El Salvador. I believe it's El Salvador. Go look that up. So I kind of just really think that it's important to kind of know what's coming down the pike. And artificial intelligence for sure is coming down the pike. Another stat that tells you how college graduates are kind of getting their butts kicked is says here that the cost of living has increased significantly. Housing prices have risen 54% just from 2012 to 2024, and they've gone up even since then. And entry level salaries have not kept pace. So a lot of young people that graduate from college are already behind in the economy because they don't have any assets to begin with, and the cost of everything's going up. So in a way, if you think about the highway of wealth being like a highway ramp, imagine if you're in a car driving next to that highway and you want to get on that highway, but there's no ramp to get on the highway. That's the problem. And so one of the reasons that we created things in the Black Business School, like the Black Wealth Master Plan, which I'll put the URL up here if you guys want to go take a look, is because basically what you have to do, in my opinion, is if you want your children to avoid the pain of what's coming, you have to get them ready now. Like when you got that little baby next to you, you got to start thinking about their economic plan today, so that in 20 years, you'll have enough time to grow the wealth that is required to liberate them. Also, the Black Wealth Master Plan is very, very simple. It says every Black child should be taught to how to start a business by the age of 12. If that teacher, with all that experience and all that education and all that skill, knew how to start a little side hustle that made her an extra $2,000 a month, she wouldn't be on the cover of a magazine talking about how broke she is. Do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't take a lot to change your economic fate. It just takes that little ability to make a little bit of money. And one of the ways that they trap you is they get you to believe this ridiculous myth that as long as you know how to do your job, you're going to be okay. As long as you're the most important shift nurse, that in the hospital, are you the best, you're the only person in the factory that knows how to work the blah 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 machine, right? And you start to get this false sense of security because you really think you can't be replaced, and that's just not true. Like I kind of want you to just understand that you always have to have a plan B and a plan C and a plan D, right? So what does that look like? Let's go back here. Let me show you all this picture again. And this was the premise of why I even did this podcast episode. And by the way, I'm on Spotify, so if you look up the Dr. Boyce breakdown on Spotify and Apple, you can find it there as well, in case you want to listen in your car. So listen to this. We'll read this again. I want you to read this, and then I want you to think about what you see, but then I want to tell you what I see, okay? What I see as a finance professor. And this is on my Twitter. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins and the number 1. Please follow me on Twitter. Please follow me on Twitter. I need y'all to follow me on Twitter and Instagram because I'm blocking the idiots. I get rid when people come in, they're stupid and corny and goofy. I had more patience when I was like 40 than I did when I was 50. I just don't have the patience anymore. So follow so we can have intelligent, important conversations. I don't want to be around stupid people. I just don't enjoy that very much. So and my Instagram is Dr. Boyce Finance, Dr. Boyce Finance, and I have a backup Instagram at Dr. Boyce Money. As you guys know, when you talk like I talk, it makes you kind of dangerous. So I had 600,000 followers on Instagram. They completely deleted that page. I don't know where it went. Now I have about 100,000. I had to start over again. And then I had another 600,000 pages of people on a Facebook page, and they deleted that one for no reason. And so literally this happens, and I probably shadow banned on YouTube. So if you follow me on multiple platforms, that'll give us a chance to make sure we're connected. One thing I got to warn you guys about, though, is that there are a lot of scammer pages that use my name. So if you see Boyce Watkins creeping in your DM, trying to sell you some Bitcoin or offer you some sex on the weekend or something like that, just know that ain't me. I don't creep in people's DMs. The only DM I creep in is my wife, and so just be mindful, because one lady told me she lost $200,000 from one of these scammer type people, and it just really breaks my heart, and I don't want that to happen to you. So please be careful. All right. So anyway, let me read this to you, and then I want you to. We're going to dissect this. It says, I have a master's degree, 16 years of experience. I work 2 extra jobs and donate blood plasma to pay the bills. I'm a teacher in America. So what she's basically saying is that with the master's degree, the 16 years of experience, the hard work with 2 extra jobs, she still doesn't have enough money. Now, here's what I want you to answer for me. I like to do these consciousness exercises. This is what we do in financial consciousness training every morning, by the way, is we're going to do a quick consciousness exercise. I'm going to ask you some simple questions. You're going to give me simple answers, and then it's going to lead us to the conclusion. So I want you to answer this for me. Does this lady have skill? Is she a skilled person? Is she a person who has acquired what should be a necessary amount of skill for her to be considered a successful person? Like, would you agree? She's got a master's degree. She achieved the educational dream. Most people don't have a master's degree. 16 years of experience, right? How many of y'all would agree that this lady is accomplished educationally and in terms of skill? Put a yes in the chat. Okay. Now, as you put your yeses in, I'm going to ask you another question. Simple question. Is this a hardworking woman? Would you agree that this teacher who works 2 extra jobs with her master's degree and 16 years of experience is a hardworking person? Would you agree? Give me a yes. Okay, so here's what I want you to process with me for a minute. I'm gonna go kind of deep on you, but I hope you can get the point here. So here you have a person who has all the skill and she's working very hard. So why is she not successful? Why does she not have enough money? Like, what is going on here? I mean, she's very successful. She just ain't got no money. She's got a lot of wealth. She just ain't got no money. Well, where's her wealth, Boyce? Well, her wealth is in her human capital, which is her education. They call that human capital. Her wealth is 16 years of experience. Lord, that's impressive, right? Her wealth is in her work ethic. That's amazing. So here's what I see, right? I see a person who has all the momentum required to be a very successful person in this society or any other. There's no reason why a lady like this should be broke, right? So the question you have to ask yourself is, if you got all this skill and you've been working this hard and you've been disciplined and you ain't breaking the law, you ain't doing nothing stupid, why are you struggling like this? What happened? What happened? Well, look at it like this. Imagine if I am a football player and I weigh 350 pounds and I run the 40-yard dash as fast as Deion Sanders. And in case you don't know, Deion Sanders was one of the fastest sprinters in the history of the NFL. For a while, I think he had the fastest 40-yard dash in the league or something like that. So I run the 40-yard dash in 4.2 seconds, and I weigh 350 pounds. So I am a bull. I'm an amazing prospect. I'm a great player. So what would have to happen for me to go on the field and to be that big and that fast, but for me to still lose the game? Like, what if every game I played in, I still lost the game? Well, it wouldn't be because I'm not big enough and fast enough. It might be because I was aiming for the wrong target or I was using my skill in the wrong way, right? Like if every time they tell me to go tackle the running back, I run and I tackle the defensive back, I tackle my, or they tell me to go tackle the other team and I tackle my own player, or whatever it is, or they tell me to run to the end zone in the north and I run to the end zone in the south. Guess what? I'm going to be running real fast, real hard in the wrong direction. Or if I have a big machine gun with 90 caliber bullets, I don't know calibers, so don't make fun of me. But if I've got a big fat machine gun with the strongest bullets in the world and I'm shooting like crazy, but I'm hitting the wrong target, then it doesn't matter how many bullets I had in my gun. It doesn't matter how many times I shoot it. It doesn't matter how powerful my gun is because I'm aiming the gun in the wrong direction. Do you understand? Do you follow what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? So let me explain this further. Let me make sure I take this all the way home. It doesn't matter if you have all the right skill and you're putting in all the hard work if all of your work is being put in the wrong direction, if it's being put toward the wrong things. Like if I have a super fast, high powered sports car and I drive 3,000 miles in the wrong direction, then I would have been better off without a car at all. I should have just walked. Somebody on a 10-speed bike could make more progress than I made because I've been going 120 miles an hour in the wrong direction. So this is my point. This is my point. When I look at this lady, I say, man, you put 1.5 million. Remember at the beginning, we calculated financially the financial value of 16 years of experience and a master's degree. That was about $1.5 million worth of capital that was applied in a way where she still finds herself broke and without income and without assets. That tells me that something went wrong in terms of the application of her capital. She managed it the wrong way. Just like you run a business, when you run a business, you got to manage it a certain way to make it work. If you manage it incorrectly, it's going to fail. Suge Knight mismanaged Death Row Records. That's why Death Row Records died. Even my friend Jay Morrison mismanaged the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Apparently, something went wrong because you had the millions of dollars and it didn't quite work out. Or you look at other corporations that have failed. You look at opportunity. DMX mismanaged his extraordinary talent where he should have been a billionaire like Jay-Z, but instead he ended up dying as a crackhead in his mid-40s, right? So when you have something great, when God blesses you with something powerful and you have a great opportunity and you put work into building that opportunity up, if you mismanage that, if you misdirect the energy, then it'll be just like you never had it before. It'll be just like you never had it. So here's what I argue. I argue that for Black people, let's talk about us. I believe that we mismanage our collective energy. If this woman, she's not even Black, so I'm using this lady as an example, but I don't know if she's Black. Maybe she's Hispanic or something, or but Black people can be light skinned too. So whatever. My wife is light skinned. I would probably say to her, if she was a young woman who was getting her master's degree and said, I want to be a teacher and all this other stuff, you know what I would say to her? I would say, okay, one little thing I want to add to you or add to your career that isn't going to be hard. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it's going to make a big difference. Is I'd like for you to take a class on how to start a business, just in case your job does not pay you enough and you need to either quit the job or you need to get a side hustle or they decide they don't want to hire you. You have to know how to go into this economy and take that same damn skill and make money. Your skill should not die in the toilet just because somebody don't want to hire you for a job. Do you understand? If you are really skilled, if you are really capable, you want to be in a position where you can take that capability and get money from it on your own. You don't need the white man's corporation to translate your skill into an economically viable opportunity for you. You should not need that. You don't need the middleman. In this economy, you want to be trained to be the middleman. You want your kids to know how to be the middleman. You got to be your own middleman. Because when you're not the middleman and you depend on the middleman, then if the middleman decides to screw you, then you will sit back and just be screwed. All you will ever become is a victim. And I don't know about y'all. Maybe I sound mean when I talk like this, but I don't want to have a whole community full of victims. Cover your ears because I'm about to cuss. You could take that victimhood stuff and shove it up your ass. I'm not a victim. I'm a problem solver. You don't see my worth. You don't see my value. You don't see what I'm capable. You don't see what my PhD is worth. Oh, well, then let me just take this asset and I'm gonna take it away from you and I'm gonna go apply it in my own way in some other direction that's gonna get me what I deserve. It's hard. It's tough. It's different. Because when you get raised in our community, you get raised to do all you get raised to do is go to school so you can get a job, and you're supposed to be nice to white folks so they'll hire you and pay you money. And I just don't trust people like that, man. You can't leave your happiness in the hands of other people. You can't leave your ability to feed your own damn children in the hands of other people. That is the white supremacy that you're fighting. That is the white supremacy that harms you. That's the white supremacy that stresses you out. They got you focused on whether or not a white lady said hello to you in the grocery store. I don't give a damn if you say hi to me. I don't care I don't care if you like me. I don't need you to like me. I don't need you to tell me Black Lives Matter. You either help me get to this bread that I'm gonna use to feed my kids, or you get the hell up out of my way. You get the fuck out of my way. That's how I feel. Like seriously, at the end of the day, we gotta grow the men. I'm talking, especially the men. Man, we gotta grow some balls. We can't. Don't you? I mean, don't ever sit around your woman acting like no victim. She ain't gonna respect you. She gonna dry up like the Sahara Desert. She only way she'll want to sleep with you is out of complete pity. You can get mad about it if you want to, but I'm sorry. I don't even. I'm such a my wife gets mad because she thinks I'm a cynic. I think I'm a realist, but she thinks I'm a cynic. I said, I really don't know if I believe in unconditional love. I don't believe that you're just going to want to be with me no matter what kind of man I show up as. I believe you want me more when I show up as a man who can solve a problem for you. You want me more when I show up as a man that can be strong for you. You want me more when I show up as a man who's going to fight for you. I don't think that it would be natural for you to be attracted to me if I never fought for you, if I had no abilities that could support you, if I had no desire to be supportive of you. What in the hell would make you want to love a person like that? That doesn't even make any damn sense. So I personally think at the end of the day, we have to become realistic about the economics of this society and understand what it means to be black in America, and just know that at the end of the day, you ain't white. And that's just, that's as plain as it gets. So anyway, do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. If you want, just so you know, we were talking about artificial intelligence and stuff like that. I do have a list of AI stocks that I sent out to my students. So if you'd like to receive that list of AI stocks that you can invest in to take advantage of the AI boom, just text the word stock to the number 87948. If you text stock to 87948, the list should come to you in the next day or so. So there's information there that can help you. I believe a great way to benefit from AI is to invest in it. Secondly, I want to remind everybody that we have the All Black National Convention every year. That's a convention that we paid for, one that we created. It's not sponsored by a government corporation, nobody else. My wife comes out, and we have lots of great people that come out there every year. And it's where we gather the smartest people in our community to solve our problems. My wife is a wonderful, beautiful woman, and I love her so much. And her birthday is coming up, and she's a licensed therapist. She's a full professor of social work. She's a hardworking woman. She literally to just, I mean, I think we should brag on our women when they're doing great things. And let me just tell you, my wife actually, believe it or not, she wears the same size that she wore in college because she gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day to go to this boot camp where these people bark at and yell at them and make them do sit-ups and push-ups and run and all that stuff. And I just think that's awesome because it does push you when you're around somebody that believes in excellence and perseverance and has determination. That pushes you to the next level, right? So I would encourage you to not just look for somebody who's going to just make life easy for you. Hang out with somebody that's going to kind of challenge you a little bit. I mean, I think there is a balance there. Obviously, though, I think I think women that are able to give men peace. I think that means a lot. But one thing I can tell you is that my wife, I really appreciate her because her intense work ethic, intellectually, physically, everything else, it pretty much saved my life. I mean, because you get in your 40s and you start gaining the weight and all that stuff. And so having a wife getting up every morning at 5 a.m. and trying to keep up with that really made a difference for me, right? So anyway, she's a licensed therapist, a full professor of social work. She's also a certified trauma specialist, and she sees clients on an individual and collective basis. So if you want to go take a look at her site, it's coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. And also, since her birthday's coming up, I just want to just mention how much I appreciate you, babe. So I don't know if she's going to hear this or not, but I think it's important that we give credit to our women. And yes, she is black. I know y'all. Some of y'all make fun of the fact that she's high yellow, but she's black. She's not just black. She's Gary, Indiana black. And if you know anything about Gary, Gary ain't nothing to play with. When she grew up in Gary, it was the murder capital of the world. So anyway, that's a little bit about my wife. And one thing that she helped me do was with the convention. She helped us to add in things like we have a whole black financial therapy department in the Black Business School. So she partners with therapists and they work on all the psychological barriers that keep us from building black wealth. And these are high powered people. These are people that are credentialed, that have doctorates and licenses and everything else. And I think this is such an upgrade to the internet because the internet is full of a lot of unqualified people. It's full of a lot of people where I guess because we somehow think that having credentials is bad, or maybe there are people who make fun of people who actually went to school and all that. You just get a lot of bad information out here. So anyway, this is what we do, and the convention is going to be this year in Lombard, Illinois, which is right outside of Chicago. So I hope you'll join us. Just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. In fact, in our Money in the Morning, our financial awareness training, we're actually going to give away some free tickets to the convention. We're going to do a drawing maybe once every couple of weeks. And so if your money's tight and you want to try to get in the drawing for a free convention ticket, just join us for our financial consciousness class in the morning. It's totally free. You could do that by texting the word morning to 87948. Or if you live in another country, you can go to drboyceelevate.com. That's drboyceelevate.com. Okay, so anyway, thank you for letting me gush about my wife for a second. I apologize. I don't know. I know people make fun of me for that. People have been making fun of me since. So there's some people who've been making fun of me since I got married. I don't know why, but whatever. That's what people do. When I see DDS says disrespecting her as an automatic block. Yes, and I automatically give you complete support and permission on that. Somebody comes in acting silly, then they just need to go. It's okay. They can go. There's plenty of ignorant places they can go. They just don't need to be here. But anyway, long story short, let's sort of summarize what we were talking about earlier. So basically, here's the deal. So when we're talking about this poor lady who was struggling financially as a teacher with 16 years of experience and 2 master's degrees, there's an easy fix to this problem. The easy fix is, and this is all in the Black Wealth Master Plan, and there's the URL up there. Again, this is another free resource from the Black Business School. If every Black child is taught to start a business by the age of 12, then they always have a plan B. They can always create a side hustle to make an extra $2,000 a month. They can always figure out how to quit their job if they want to, or they can always find a way to feed their family in case they lose their job. You should not depend on another community to feed your children. Let me repeat that. You should never depend on another community to feed your children. If you get to the point where you say, gosh, I can't feed my kids because Mr. White Man's not hiring, I don't think your children are going to want to hear that. They're not going to respect that. So it's very important that you have a plan B for that. And also that you train your children to have a plan B for that. Give me a yes if you agree with that. Number two is you got to buy stock for your kids when they're young. I wrote my dissertation on the stock market. I studied the stock market for 30 years. I've written a bunch of original research papers on how impactful the stock market is as a wealth building mechanism. So I have confirmed science that shows the stock market investing is literally the number one wealth builder in our society. So you got to start buying your kids stock when they're young. Don't overthink it. Don't let it scare you. Just set it on autopilot, man. Just open up your Robinhood app and literally just like buy $30 or $40 worth of stock every week, or $100 worth if you can. I mean, $100 a week is $400 a month. There are people that spend more than that on a damn car note. So I'm trying to understand why the hell am I trying to fight with people who don't even love their kids as much as they love their car? Like that's what I'm on, and I don't want to guilt trip you, but it's true. That's how I think. I'm like, wait, isn't your child's future protecting them from racism and racial abuse, police shootings, and all these other horrible things that can happen when you're not prepared as a young Black man, a young Black woman? Isn't that more important? Like protect them from racism on the job and all the trauma that comes with that, all the distress, all the depression and anxiety that you experience from that. Like, isn't that more important than whatever you driving? I'm not trying to say you shouldn't drive something nice. You can do that, but you can do that and handle your business. There's nothing. I was talking to a guy the other day who was going to introduce me to an NBA player, who has an interest in black wealth and all that stuff. And I said, look, I'm not here to tell these rich guys that they can't enjoy their money. I'm not a guy that's going to tell you you can't go to the club and blow a few thousand. I'm not going to tell you you can't drive a Mercedes. I'm not going to tell you you can't have really nice stuff. I'm just saying handle your business first. That's it. After you handle your business, work hard, play hard. Like, go get nice stuff for yourself. Get the Mercedes that you want, but put that $500-600 a month, the same money you spend on that Benz payment, put that same amount in your child's trust fund, or put it in the family trust fund. Don't even put it in the child's name. You enjoy that money. That's your capital base. That's your financial security until you pass that over to your child. See, that's what wealth is. Wealth is intergenerational. Wealth is this construct that you create that allows you to enjoy it until you pass it to someone else. It's like if I buy a house, I can live in the house until I give it to my kids. I ain't got to buy my kids a house. You buy yourself a house. Do for yourself, and then you will be able to do for your children. You do a lot for you, and then do more for them. That's what you do. So long story short, buy stock for the kids when they're young. Really, when the day they're born is the best time to do it, and then you should do it very aggressively, and don't sell that stuff, man. Let's see. Someone's is asking about Nvidia. Do I think that $1,000 worth of stock is a good start? Yeah. Well, when Nvidia splits, yeah, I would. If you like Nvidia, I wouldn't wait until the split, because remember, everybody knows about the split, so the stock price is probably going to go up because of the split. If you like Nvidia, I would say just buy Nvidia and buy it consistently, dollar cost average. Buy $20 a week, $50 a week, $100 a week, or whatever you can afford, and just consistently do it. Don't overthink it. Don't try to time it. All the research shows that market timing does not work. So you don't want to try to time the stock market. That's just not a good strategy. Just do it. Just jump in and have some fun and do your thing and love it. Like, love it. Stock market investing is supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to overthink it. In fact, I could literally buy stock in 10 seconds, just while I'm talking to you, and totally forget that I even bought the stock. So don't make it into this big deal. But you got to get started. Okay. Now, if you're looking for some resources that can help you, here's one that's really good. We have in the Black Business School, blackmoney101.com. There is a ton of material, a ton of great lectures I put together with slides and PowerPoints and everything else that's yours for life. It's a great way to get started on your wealth building journey. It's what I call an introduction to the power of money. So feel free to go to blackmoney101.com and take a look at that. And that'll give you something to kind of get started if my assistance can help you in that journey, because I really just want to see as many of us invest in the stock market as possible. The third piece to the Black Wealth Master Plan. So the first thing I said was that every Black child should be trained on how to start a business by the age of 12. Number two, every Black child should have somebody buying stock for them from the time that they're little, really from the time that they're born. Really, the earlier the earlier the better. So if you're a true visionary and you're going to have kids in 10 years, why not start buying stock right now? Right? Just buy it, start buying right now. Like I told our 17-year-old, I said, well, one day you're going to have kids, right? She said, yeah. I said, well, yeah, start buying stock now. And then by the time your kids are grown-ups, like, you'll be able to pass them $1 million. Like, how cool would that be? They're going to love you, right? But it's really important this is why things like meditation are so important, right? People think it's weird when I do our economic awareness training every morning and I talk about things like meditation and consciousness. And the reason that I speak this way is because you have no idea how much exposure I've had to things like linear algebra, higher dimensional mathematics, and all these other constructs that really take your brain to another place. Like, so really what I see when I see, say, for example, instant gratification versus delayed gratification, I'm seeing higher dimensional thinking. All I'm really seeing is checkers versus chess. If you're a chess player, you're a higher dimensional thinker than a checker player. Let me know if you get what I'm saying. Give me a yes if you're following this. If you are a chess players think several steps ahead. Chess players have to be able to identify all the possibilities that may lie ahead, several moves down. Chess players think differently from checker players. And then there are people that play fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional chess. So that's a higher level. So this is where consciousness is important and meditation is important. So if I'm sitting here and I'm 20 years old and I meditate and I just imagine myself as a 50-year-old and I walk through my day as a 50-year-old man with teenage children and a 50-year-old wife and 50-year-old bills and and all that stuff, then I can see that life that I need to be prepared for. I can understand it better, and I'm not going to be intimidated by it because I have 30 years to put myself in a position where I'm going to be doing very well as a 50-year-old. Do you understand? Thank you, Sister Debbie. I see your yes. Do you understand? And let me tell you why this is important. I'm going to ask y'all a question. Do you think that most 20-year-old Black men can even fathom what their life will be like when they're 50? Do you think that there are any 20? Do you think that most 20-year-old black men, yes or no, have imagined what their lives will be like when they're 50? I mean, like, seriously imagine that. Do you really think that this is something that's a common exercise in the community? What do you think? Of course it's not. It's not. Most 20-year-old black men can't even imagine being 25. I'm not saying that there's something wrong with them. I'm not making fun of them. So if you're young, I'm not dogging you and nothing like that. I'm just telling you, look at your friends. Look at your friends who can't even look past Saturday night. You got friends that can't even see 3 months into the future, let alone think about it. You are run around skeeting and all these women and making babies everywhere. And you go look at a lot of 35-year-old men. Child support is one of the biggest financial drains that they're dealing with. They sitting there dealing with all this child support, hate their baby's mama. I'm like, well, if you hate your baby's mama and you hate paying the child support, why was you in there raw dogging all them girls when you're talking? Well, man, I wasn't thinking, man. I was just living, man. See, there's your problem. No, you didn't have somebody like me in your ear. You had a dumb rapper in your ear. You had a goofball comedian in your ear. You had athletes on TV in your ear. Some of whom, I'm not saying these are bad guys. I'm not making fun of them. I'm not attacking them. But I am saying that you didn't have people in your ear who were saying, look, you dumbass, you're going to be older one day and you have to have a plan. That's what you have to have. And this is where I want to help. I promise you, even when I make people mad, even when I upset people, I'm really trying to help. Because I understand a lot of people didn't have a father like I did. They didn't have a father my father, I remember one time when I was 17, my father said, boy, you better do something with your life because one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be 35 and wonder where your good years went. And I thought like that really made me pause. Like I said, dang, I don't want that to happen to me. That one little statement made a big difference. And I don't really think we have a lot of people that help us do that. Because a 20-year-old who makes a plan for what his life is going to be like when he's 45 or 50 is going to be in very good shape when he's 45 or 50 because he has lots of time to prepare. But a 20-year-old who doesn't think about when he's 45 or 50 and starts preparing to be 45 when he's 46 years old, you got people like that. You got people that prepare to be 45 when they're already 46. You got a lot of 46-year-old teenagers running around here, literally still thinking that it's 1998. It's Diddy, poor Diddy was out here. Diddy does the same dances in 2024 that he did in 1998 and 1997. This man did not want to grow up. You have a Peter Pan complex in your community, which has to be um, annihilated with maximum efficiency. It has to be eliminated as quick as possible because it keeps your men and their growth stunted. It keeps them from being in a position to prepare for the future. And if you're not a person that can prepare for the future, then you're not going to be a very good investor or a good wealth builder. Now, let me show you all this video. I'm going to show you all this video real quick. If you can please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. This is the last thing I'm going to show you, I promise. And then I'm going to get on out of here because when I start talking for a long time, I start saying stuff that makes people madder than it already does. I put this on my Instagram, and I'm going to try to share. My Instagram, by the way, is Dr. Boyce Finance. And my backup Instagram is Dr. Boyce Money. So I hope that you'll follow me on the gram. Let me see if I can find this dang thing. Where is that Instagram post? Okay, here we go. Wait, I think this is it. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. So can y'all see that image up there? There's a lady, and on the top of it, there's like some Chinese kids, kindergartens playing basketball. So I want you to look at this, and I want you to just watch this video. It's pretty awesome. Y'all see the kids on the screen? Can y'all see that? Because it doesn't look like it's moving on my end. Do y'all see the kids playing basketball on the screen, or is it just not working? If it's not working, I'll grab the video and show it to you later. But anyway, it's on my Instagram, which is Dr. Boyce Finance. I don't see it moving on here, so I'm going to take it down. But anyway, what they did was they showed all these little Asian kids that were playing basketball. And it was really, really fascinating to watch because the kids are able to do these really interesting things with basketballs where they have 40 of them, 40 kids all sharing the same basketballs. Like one will dribble next to the other one, and then they'll move, and then they all move at the same time, and they keep dribbling, and then they'll move at the same time, and they keep dribbling. Has anybody ever seen that? It's really interesting. And the reason I wanted to show this to you, and I'm going to try to show it again. Let me know if you see it, because I think it's a really important lesson on group economics. So let me show y'all this. And this is actually linked to culture. I talk about this a lot in my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. Okay, can y'all see the little Chinese kids dribbling the basketballs? Y'all see that? It's not as big as I want, but I hope you can see it. Can y'all see? Give me a guess if you see that. Okay. So here, look at this, right? You've got the children, like about 50 of them, all working together. All of them are coordinated and on a very deep level. Like this, when you're doing this, when you're 4, 5, 6 years old, what's happening is that you're brainwashing the children to be connected on a deep subconscious level. They're vibrating on the same frequency. Now, what I want you to really understand is what's happening here. What the Chinese government is doing is they are pretty much practicing a form of powernomics. Now, sure, in its most sinister level, this is clearly a type of brainwashing. But on a less sinister level, this is a coordinated group of society. This is group activity. This is group economics. This is group everything. This is family structure. This is us understanding that we are better off when we connect to the group, when we are consistent in terms of what we do, and what I do affects what you do affects what I do. We all care about the community. Now, I want you to contrast that with some of what we see sometimes in the Black community, where you don't have a collective mindset, where you have, for example, you might have some really famous entertainer who does some really ridiculous stuff, and people say, why would you set that bad example for the children? And then a lot of them will jump out and say, well, because I'm not a role model and I don't owe nothing to nobody except myself. That doesn't really happen in China. The Chinese government pretty much forbids that kind of behavior. They punish and penalize that kind of behavior. In fact, if you are a loud, flashy hip hop artist showing off all your money and to poor people and also making people feel bad, they will take you down. They will take down your social media. They won't let you do that. They won't let people do what a lot of our artists do. Right. So what I'm saying to you is that when you see these kids operating in sync, what that's doing is that's creating a type of rhythm, a type of subconscious connection and vibration that they're going to operate on even when they're 20, 30, and 40 and 50 years old. You won't be able to compete. Your kids who are divided and conquered and crabs in a barrel and fighting each other, pulling each other down, hating on each other, mad at each other, competing with each other, they can't compete with Chinese kids, because I taught a class in China. I taught finance in China a long time ago, 18 years ago. I taught a finance class in China. And when I tell you that they operate in sync, it is not a game. They got powernomics mastered at a very high level. They are going to kick your kids in the ass if your kids grow up with all this Negro shit. If they grow up with all this nonsense, this selfish, narcissistic behavior that they see from some of their favorite celebrities, I don't care about nobody. All I care about is mine, and I hate my baby daddy. You can't win. Not against this, because they've been training since they were children on how to be connected. They also understand what an ecosystem looks like. In my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, I have to spend a lot of time explaining what an ecosystem is. While the Black family is supposed to be an economic ecosystem where I pour into you, you pour into me. Trade is better than charity. I help you out, you help me out. I hook you up, you hook me up. I come through for you, you come through for me. And I want you to contrast that. Think about how many times you've had your own relative borrow money from you and not even feel compelled to pay you back. Has that happened to anybody? Has anybody ever loaned money to a relative who was in trouble because you're trying to be loyal, you're trying to follow through, you're trying to be a stand-up guy, you're trying to be a good loved one, and you come through for them, and then they disappear with your money? Has anybody ever seen that? Or what about just all the scenarios where people will make babies and nobody can humble themselves enough to sacrifice to make sure that the baby's okay? The daddy hates the mama hates the daddy, and both of y'all hate the damn children. Both of y'all come in there with your nonsense, with your narcissism, with your selfishness. You talking crazy about his daddy in front of the child. So the child hates himself. He hates his daddy. So he's got no father. And then the daddy's talking crazy about the mother. That's not healthy, man. Like that's very anti-family. It's very anti-wealth. It's very anti-community. You don't build anything out of that. So what the Chinese government is doing basically when they have these little kids dribbling basketballs together, this is not just PE class. This is treating them how to be a solid citizen. This is powernomics training, Black people. This is what powernomics training looks like. If you look at that circle right there, right, where each kid, think about this, you got 50 kids operating in unison to achieve the same goal. If one child falls off code, if one kid, just 1 out of 50, doesn't understand the assignment, the whole thing falls apart. And these are 4-year-olds who are better able to be unified at achieving a goal. They have better unity at the age of 4 than some of us have at 54. How about that shit? If that doesn't make you mad, I don't know what should. I'm inspired by what I see, but part of me is like frightened by this. I'm scared for those of us who just never learn these things, right? And I really encourage you, like, discipline and unity are critical when you're really trying to compete in this world. So a lot of us, let's just face it, a lot of our people won't ever be able to compete. When you can't compete, you pretty much have to submit yourself to become the slave of the people who can compete. That's where a big segment of our community is going to go. That's just the reality. That's just the fact. But there are some of you who are tired of that shit. Some of y'all who just ain't going to live like that. You don't want to live like a slave. You don't want to be told what to do. You don't want anybody controlling you. You want to elevate. You want to break the generational curse. You want to go to the next level. And I applaud you, and I encourage you, and I challenge you. And what I'm also telling you is that you're gonna have to be strong as hell. You're literally going to be strong as hell. Why? Well, because you got two enemies. You got racist white folks, and you got ignorant black folks. And both of them can be equally destructive, unfortunately, when it comes to you trying to really do something good. You're going to have to fight against that, and you're going to have to be stronger. You have to be consistent. And believe me, I know, because I'm kind of in the epicenter of that. I deal with lost people every single day, and I don't hate them. I don't try to change them. I just walk around them. And y'all know, every single day I've been very consistent about this, about what I do every day. Because when you're trying to do something hard or something great or whatever it is we're trying to do, you got to put forth that effort. You got to be committed at that level. You got to be extreme. So I'm okay with being an extremist. I'm an extremist when it comes to rebuilding families and loving the black woman. I'm an extremist when it comes to education. I believe that our kids should be educated at the highest level. They should be able to compete with the Indian kids, Asian kids, Arab kids, and Nigerian kids. I'm not just happy when a kid finishes high school and he can't read. I'm not happy just because Pookie went to college. I'm happy when Pookie goes to college and he does his absolute best. I'm an extremist when it comes to wealth. I believe deeply that if we train our children at an early age on stock market investing, real estate investing, entrepreneurship, stock options, everything else, and we also plant seeds for them by investing for them consistently and teaching them the value of ownership and things like that, and what it means to be on code economically, etc., I believe that we can be the richest people on the planet. I believe that there will be black people that are going to come out of our movement, that are going to come out of the B1 movement, who are one day going to run the world. They're going to run trillion-dollar companies one day. In less than 100 years, there will be somebody out of this movement, one of y'all's grandkids or something, is going to run a $1 trillion company. And I'm very, very proud to have been a part of that with you. I'm very, very proud of that. So I honor you and I thank you. And I appreciate you for standing with me in this weirdness that we live in. And I appreciate you for even trying to understand where I'm coming from. And because not everybody does. It ain't easy. So that's it, guys. I'm done. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. And also, if you want to get a free copy of the ebook on how to do the $5 a day investing plan, you can go to b1investing.com. Our marketing director, Micah, just put that together as a place where you can go to get a free resource. So go to b1investing.com. Feel free to take a look. And also tomorrow morning, we're going to do economic awareness training, EAT. That's where I show you how to eat. If you want to eat, you got to be able to see the food. Awareness is being able to see. So if you'd like to join us for economic awareness training, just text the word morning, MORNING, to 87948. We meet at 10 a.m. Eastern every single morning, 7 days a week. And if you live overseas and you can't text the word morning to 87948, you can also go to drboyceelevate.com and sign up there. That's drboyceelevate.com. So have a good day, everybody. God bless you. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. It's real. And I will see you all very, very soon. Love you. Take care. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, Triple 10, 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.